If you're new to using Fujifilm cameras and you're a little lost when it comes to using film simulations and recipes, then stick around because I'm going to give you some tips to help you get out there capturing great photos in no time. Before I got my hands on the X100VI, I thought that I was going to be able to take this camera right out of the box and bam, instantly start getting beautiful images just like we're seeing on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. But I quickly realized that that is just not the case. The default film simulation settings are really good, but if you're looking to get that highly stylized look that we're seeing online, you're gonna need to use custom recipes. The problem is, using custom recipes is not as straightforward as you would think. So here are my tips to help you get started using custom recipes and film simulations to get great looking photos straight out of camera. My first tip is to always shoot in RAW, especially if you're just getting started with Fujifilm. Now the reason I say to always shoot in RAW is because you'll quickly realize that not all recipes look good in all lighting conditions. Bruh. And shooting in RAW will allow you to take all of your RAW images and audition all of your presets in post using Fujifilm's X-RAW Studio software. And that brings us to tip number 2. Now that you're shooting in RAW, I want you to go out and shoot as many photos as you can in as many different lighting conditions as possible. So go shoot golden hour, blue hour, shoot harsh sunlight at high noon, shoot at night in the shade, at night with flash, anything you can think of. Now, once you have all of those images, bring them into X-RAW Studio and try all of your different recipes. This is the best way to figure out which recipes work best in different lighting conditions. Now, as you're going through this process, I'm almost certain that you're going to run into some recipes that only seem to look good in very specific lighting conditions. Now, these are typically pretty easy to spot because they have a fixed white balance and fixed white balance shift values. And this leads me into my third tip, which is to use auto white balance to make your favorite film recipes more versatile. Doing a full tutorial on this process is out of the scope of this video. If it is something that you're interested in seeing, then drop a comment down below and I'll think about making that video. But for now, I'll just give you a high-level overview, and I think that that will be enough to get you guys on the right track. From a high level, what we need to do is take the film recipe in question and we're duplicating that, but instead of using the fixed white balance value, we're switching over to auto white balance. And then instead of using the default white balance shift values, you're gonna use the white balance shift to dial in the colors of your image to match the original recipe, if that makes sense. It'll take a few minutes for you to dial in the white balance shift values to get really close to the original recipe, but once you do, it has really worked well for me and it makes my favorite film recipes much more versatile so I can use them in a lot more lighting conditions than just that small window that they were originally designed for. Just remember, this hack will make some of your favorite film recipes much more versatile, but it's not magic, right? You'll run into some lighting conditions where even your newly created auto recipe won't look good, or you just might have some scenarios where you want to use a recipe that has a fixed white balance value, and that's okay. So that leads into my fourth tip, which is make sure you save a well-rounded collection of recipes into your camera, so that way you're ready for any kind of lighting condition. I personally have my X100 set up with my C1 preset set to something that's very, very safe. Yeah, it's not as stylized, but I know that it'll give me a good shot in pretty much any lighting condition. Now for the rest of my custom preset slots, they pretty much get progressively more niche as they get higher in number. So for instance, my C6 is only for shooting in like harsh high noon sunlight, and my C7 is only for shooting at night cityscapes. My fifth tip is to use clarity only as needed. Now, if you don't already know, if you shoot with your clarity set to anything other than 0, then your camera will slow down between shots. Now, I personally don't mind that because I love me some clarity, but I know that that can drive some of you crazy, so just be aware of that. When talking to other new Fujifilm users, I find that there's a lot of confusion around the dynamic range setting and when to use what. So my sixth tip is, when in doubt, shoot at DR400. Now, what that will allow you to do is, in post, that'll allow you to go down to DR200 or DR100 if needed. But if you were to shoot at DR100, you can't go the other way. It won't allow you to go up to 200 or 400 if you shot at DR100. So when in doubt, shoot in DR400 to get the most flexibility. Shooting at DR400 will give you the most flexibility, but you need to be aware of some things. So this brings me to my seventh and final tip, which is to be careful to not overexpose your images. So like I said, shooting at DR400 will give you a lot of flexibility, and you'll notice that a lot of recipes use either DR200 or DR400. That's very common. And if you don't already know, if you're shooting at DR400, you have to use a minimum of ISO 500. So you can imagine if you're out on a really bright sunny day, you're shooting at DR400 with an ISO of 500 and you're trying to use an aperture of f2.0, there's a really good chance that you're going to overexpose. So one trick that I use is to enable the mechanical plus electronic shutter. That'll allow you to get much faster shutter speeds to bring that exposure down. So if you haven't read through the whole manual, it's not very straightforward about the shutter speeds that are capable with this camera. So if you're using mechanical shutter and you're at f2.0, your shutter speed tops out at 1/2000. The mechanical shutter speed tops out at 1/2000. Once you jump up to f4.5, you get a little speed back. You go up to 1/4000. But if you're using the electronic shutter, you get 1/180,000th of a second shutter speed. So that's about 5 stops of light that you can bring the exposure down with the electronic shutter. Now, using electronic shutter presents its own set of problems, which I'm not going to get into here, or you might even just want to slow down the shutter speed for creative purposes. So if you don't want to use the electronic shutter, or you want to slow down the shutter speed really slow, then also don't forget about your built-in ND filters. If you're an X100 user, you have 4 stops of ND built into the camera. So use it, don't forget about it. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you found the video useful. If you did, drop a comment down below and let me know. If this is your first time here, my name is Matt and I make videos about photography, video, I do product reviews, vlogs, all that good stuff. So if you don't want to miss out on any future content, please consider liking and subscribing because it helps me out a lot. Again, my name is Matt and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.